damage setup here. Yes, potentially later, Ezreal could go into some AP, but if you're Aatrox, you're rushing Tabbies, you're rushing, perhaps Zonias or at least the Seekers for Sylas. Sejuani can just stack armor, and they have to get things done early and often probably through the 1-3-1.
For sure, this is one of those games in solo queue. You see that matchup, you're spamming cloth armor pings at the beginning of the match because there is huge value on that. And they've got champions that can build it very effectively here on the side of TSM. All eyeballs are going to be on Clutch, and if they can extend the series, though, TSM looking to punch that ticket to Worlds already so early in the day.
Pretty crazy stuff. You have to think Bjergsen's been there, Sven's been there in a third, fourth place match with Origin previously. A lot of skill on this team with most everybody, except for Broken Blade and Spica, who joined the team most recently in Broken Blade this year. So there's a lot to be learned from this team and also gained if they do get to the international stage.
It certainly is, and such a surprising first couple of games, you have to say. Talking to all the players, all the teams, the coaches, in the interviews, everyone looking at the gauntlet was saying CLG versus Clutch. That's the decider, and TSM here, a month of hard practice, certainly paying dividends thus far in the series, looking to close it out, looking to reestablish themselves as one of North America's best teams and go to Worlds.
Trying to prove that 2018 Worlds miss was a fluke for TSM here, 2-0 against Clutch as the final boss in the NA Regional Qualifier Finals. Here we are into Game 3, as we said, Clutch backs against the wall. We are on the Rift, and TSM is heading out of their base. Hometown crowds for both here trying to cheer each other on, and Clutch definitely wanting to stay alive in this series. Saw a lot of action towards the mid lane early last game. May expect to see it here again, but it looks like it may just be a 2v2 bot that stays down there.
Yeah, so last game, I started talking about, all right, Elise can go fast level 3 off red, Krugs, blue, and then gank. However, he did 4 camps, got out ganked by the Sejuani. This time, I'll one-up it. I'll say, all right, Lyra can go red buff into gank. Jarvan is very good at level 2 ganking and can snowball even earlier with a pass like that. It can possibly set you behind, but we'll keep an eyeball on Lyra to see if he is more aggressive in the pathing to try and affect the map early, because I do think that Clutch are going to need to get money early on Aurelia, on Kiana, in order to win this game.
Yeah. But it is going to be Jarvan just going down to that bottom side, so it will be at least start on the blue. So it will not be that level 2 gank you would not expect without that red buff. And we'll see where exactly he's going to want to go from here, because Spica has been kind of in his comfort zone, playing this Sejuani every game, being able to kind of have a little bit less pressure on him, playing comfort, playing a more forgiving tanky style champion. You can afford to kind of just be more on the defensive end of these jungle matchups.
But still making plays where he needs to be for the team, which is definitely super helpful. Speaking of not having that much time kind of on the big stage or even an international stage for that matter. So all of this preparation is going to be fantastic for him. Looking at Bjergsen and Damonte here in mid, was mentioned about a bit of that gank pressure we were seeing. Damonte, 35%
Sun minion
of his chances in that first blood is what he accrues here for the regular season. 35% of the time he kills and assists are for Damonte. 11% of the time it's for Bjergsen. So to see TSM come mid lane last game definitely shows that they're changing their play style.
And we might have that Jarvan gank after all. Really awkward path from him, but it makes it work with the timing. Lyra comes in, level 2 blue buff Jarvan gank, not the most feared, gets the flash though. So he's the first one to visit, and now you're in a situation, Kiana can constantly pull the water elements from the river and threaten Bjergsen for the snare combo. If you land that, it guarantees an EQ from Jarvan, and they gain pressure.
And it is so interesting as Bjergsen, the Ignite was dropped there, not going to have the damage to kill him, but Bjergsen is a player who is really methodical with timings, with knowing exactly when to ward, which angles the jungler should come from at what moments, and sometimes doing these weird paths can pay dividends as they're going to try to TP back in and punish Damonte as Spica is here.
I like it. He's got a huge wave. Why would Damonte leave? He tries to take Terra from the right side.
That was clean.
He's out of that one beautifully on the other side of Spica. Nicely done by Damonte to get out.
Feels grass there.
Yep.
Lyra comes in to help push the wave as well. He doesn't want to leave it in a bad spot here, so they're going to be able to finish this one off. Meanwhile, that opens up Spica to go get the Scuttle Crab in the duration. and he's going to get the top one, secure that for Broken Blade, who's pushing ahead on Aatrox.
See this gank once more.
Yeah, and this is just an unexpected path, right? Bjergsen was actually going to ward there to head up and probably ward up near Raptors, very likely, and instead does have to have his Flash Force.
And the reason Bjergsen has that timing is because he knows it was a blue start, because they saw the bottom lane, head to lane afterwards, and timing for a full blue half clear, trying to get his ward out there ahead of time. Meanwhile, that does leave the bottom lane here for a little bit of an exchange. Cody Sun and Vulcan doing quite well for themselves thus far.
Early sweeper to that bottom side. They do not want brush control in any form here for the side of Clutch Gaming. So Smoothie's going to be sweeping immediately on the side of TSM, along with Spica.
Yeah, and I think that's actually really smart when you're playing Rakan specifically into a Tahm Kench lane, because your engage actually has to catch the Tahm Kench as well as the AD really to be effective there, as Oni and Broken Blade trading so heavily, and this is because Lyra is actually trailing him. He's trying to get him low for a potential dive here. Lyra is going to walk up through these brushes, and if Broken Blade is low enough, we may see them go in for this. Let's see if the stun will land.
Flawless duet right on the left side of the turret would have been perfect timing. Now he's got to really distance it, flashes forward to make it work, has no charge on the dash, and they're just going to go for the autos. He's going quite deep, though. No Lyra's coming in. They say maybe we can take Spica as well. A 5 and a 4 versus a level 4 jungler. Does he have to flag and drag to make it happen? Spica's crawling this one around as Bjergsen slowly walking over, but it's taken a while. Him and Demonte still have a bit of ground to cover here. Squire's Bloom goes down, and Demonte pushes off Bjergsen.
That was such a bold play from Spica, trying to 1v1 just with a challenging smite there. Gives away a kill. I was going to say, that play set up from Clutch, the reason they can go so aggressive is because they will be rewarded by denying the triple stacked minion wave no matter what. So Huni was like, you know what? I'll trade flashes. I'll chase you down. I'll go for the damage. I'm denying you all this experience from these minions, regardless of if we get the kill or not. But then Spica goes back in. They end up getting a kill on top of it.
Yeah, this was odd.
Yeah, Spica decides he's going to re-engage, and one of the kind of worst parts about this is it actually baits Broken Blade into staying around to try to help him. So Broken Blade does not actually complete his recall to TP back to get any of those minions. So that's First Blood going over. That's Broken Blade put way behind with the wave pushing against him in the 1v1. And that is very detrimental to the start here.
And that was kind of close there for Spica. He was not counting on Jarvan cooldowns. If there was not an EQ knockup from Lyra, you know, if Jarvan's not there. Here we go, mid though.
Demonte could be going down. Spica, it's a 3v1. Demonte is going to walk out of this one with the grass invisibility. Beautifully played to get out.
Yeah, and that was really nice. He actually held on to his flash there, knowing that no one could get that last stack of the passive from Sejuani. Summoners were down for Spica, Broken Blade, and Bjergsen, so there was no possibility of a flash follow for last stack into that Sejuani stun. So intelligently tracks those cooldowns, holds on to the Summoner.
You see the result of the top lane back and forth. That huge minion wave just cleared by Huni, and maybe 4 or 5 there to be picked up by Broken Blade. 51-28 after that entire top fiasco.
Yeah, that's the result of those triple stack minion wave we're talking about. Gonna be felt by Broken Blade here, and it means early executioners from Huni. He's got the extra money to work with as well, so it feels quite good trading in this matchup.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it can become pretty difficult, you know, when you are against an Aurelia who is ahead of you. As the Aatrox, Aurelia has a lot of mobility, you know, the ability to actually dash around and dodge the sweet spots on your Qs and look for those potential all-ins.
And if we incorporate that into the overall game plan that we looked at for this team composition, you know, having the Ezreal Tahm Kench as a safe bottom lane, allowing a lot of top lane focus, that is going to be right on target for Clutch Gaming. You know, they've got now a super strong Aurelia for Lyra to work off of. Kiana in the mid lane as well. Demonte's been playing very well, dodging out a lot of the pressure. So I think this all goes according to plan for Clutch, and they're feeling so much better about this game than the start of the last one, where TSM absolutely crushed them.
And we'll see if Clutch actually wants to start up this Infernal. Would be pretty nice for them to grab, but you know, is somewhat of a risky proposition to be going for without anyone taking off the map before.
Monte's a grass puller.
Yeah, it looks like it. He continuously loves that terrain. It really makes it hard to kind of follow up on anything for Bjergsen, but this one, quite follow-upable, if you will. Supreme display of talent stolen from Demonte, and they use it against the jungler. And now it's going to be, or the top laner, now it's going to be a quick fight here. Spica could go down. Spica lives! He gets the HP back as well, and Lyra's going to have to flash out. Talk about everything coming up TSM.
There can only be one true Supreme display of talent. And Bjergsen actually gets the better one this time around. Even when Clutch going to answer,
man.
they can't do it. Spica timing here is so good. It was called from Broken Blade to roam down the river, so Spica gets there, starts it off for Bjergsen, easy knock over into the wall. Then Clutch try and answer because they think they have the ultimate advantage, but it gets turned around so quickly. Lyra goes and they split a little bit, allowing for the extra kill here, trading 1 for 1 and having to blow their flash on the way out.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt, especially with the Ezreal ult coming across from bot lane to add in some extra damage. They thought that they would have had that damage needed to actually burst down a couple members, but Huni just kind of a bit of lazy pathing there. They know he's missing from topside. He didn't have tracking on where Spica was, so he gets caught out and he gets punished very heavily.
That's one aspect of TSM that people have really been looking towards since they've rotated through so many junglers. How well are they going to work with the jungler? How well can they communicate and call him in? I think that was since Broken Blade was trailing Huni down the river, calling, hey, Spica, this is an opportunity here. He gets in with the control ward, and it results in a positive play for them. They're still down 1,000 gold versus Clutch due to Clutch's successful early start and that massive CS denial, especially on the top side of the map.
But you can see some important itemization coming through. Early armor, right? Tabby's already done here for Broken Blade. The Seeker's arm guard built up here for Bjergsen, and likely going to go into a Proto Belt or something along those lines next. But it's going to be so efficient against all this damage here. Damonte wants Bjergsen.
Bjergsen hit up, Supreme Display onto him, but I don't think they're going to want this follow-up fight. Nuzz Duet to stop the team, and Clutch gets the idea to assess another target. That's going to be Sven that they take down first. Speak is going to get chased down behind the red buff now as it's Huni dropping off Broken Blade there. The rest of TSM does not want this fight as they lose their jungler, and Clutch bite down hard in the middle of the map.
Kind of similar to last game, I guess. TSM get an Infernal Drake, but Clutch strike back, and they get the kills on the way out. The bottom lane rotating over. Sven gets taken down very quickly, and that is going to be a pretty big push there for Clutch.
Yeah, and they're actually just going to move their bot lane top, potentially reset, set up for this Rift Herald that is now spawned up here. So TSM does get the Infernal. That is big for them, but Damonte had caught out onto Bjergsen here. Certainly not enough damage to knock him down, but a good flash here from Damonte, avoiding the R flash there from Smoothie, and it is this turnaround onto Sven. When he gets caught out, separated from the rest of the team, TSM won't have enough damage to actually continue the fight.
Yeah, you could see the communication there. Sven was trailing, thinking that he was going to be the caboose for this gank on mid lane, and yet the Ezreal was behind him, so he ended up getting pinched and gets killed off in the aftermath. Both bottom lanes answer with the switch up to top side, so everybody well aware Rift Herald's the next prize. There is no objective on the bottom half of the map pulling anyone down there, so it is all Rift Herald all day now.
Is this our latest Rift Herald this year? No.
11 minutes.
11 minutes in, and team's going right for it when it comes up.
Yeah, I do think it also gives some freedom now for Huni to work in that 1v1. He has the gold lead, so if jungler is going to be on top side of the map, which they have spotted Spica now, Huni has a little bit more agency to push with Reckless Abandon, and he's shoved in that bottom wave and is now threatening to move up towards that mid lane for a potential play there.
Really liking the Damonte Moby boots here. Whatever terrain you have, you run faster than next to that, so he can zoom himself around the map now in the river. See what he gets out of this.
Again.
Maybe a little crowd control. He can stun back Flash over the wall, but he doesn't have Flash. He can't get the stun out, and he gets locked up himself. Damonte goes down.
And that is twice now out of that brush that Spica has caught a Clutch solo laner, and this should be Rift for TSM.
That's Spica's favorite spot and Spica's favorite control ward. Pays off again for TSM. This one will be rewarded in an objective.
Early part of the game was quite crazy towards that top lane. A little bit more love towards that side of the map now, just 12 minutes later, and we'll see if they can grab Rift Herald. Lyra's on the other side of the wall. Maybe he can sneak in and get this smite there. He's trying to creep in, but he says no. Is the window to fight there, though, for Clutch Gaming? That's the next question. Tagging a few abilities. Cody Sun Arcane shifts forward. Broken Blade and Huni going on a little 1v1 adventure down towards mid. But it looks like this one fizzles out with not too much happening, and TSM will get Rift Herald.
Yeah, nicely done by TSM there, following up on that pick. Able to take another objective here. Down a little bit of gold, but with the Rift Herald as well as that Infernal, their position in this game is pretty good.
And the kills are going to their solo laners. Bjergsen now with 2 for Silas, trying to fund his Proto Belt and Zonias. He will be a very tanky Silas.
Oh.
Broken Blade is dead. It's catch me up on that one as Kiana found him in the jungle.
Nicely done. Definitely the combo we'll have to see there. I think he came in with water to stun. Yeah, he does have water to stun. Initiates after that.
He should have seen that.
Terrain.
He just knocked the plant. Like that if you're paying attention, you see the plant on the mini map. So that is some lack of focus there from
But aren't you
Broken Blade.
curious to say, what hit the plant?
Ooh, is it a squirrel? Is it a pot of gold? No.
It was definitely something.
Well, unfortunately, it goes down for him. And that did mean he's losing more minions on the bottom side, right? He was already behind Huni, now down about 60 CS. He may be here in time to pick up a couple of these minions, but Huni's gold lead is just getting bigger off the back of that because, Broken Blade did not want to blow the TP, and give Clutch that map advantage. So he is going to have to make that long walk back to lane.
Seeing how that lane played out. Huni actually pressed the attack this time, and Broken Blade stayed far away. He didn't want that fight. Broken Blade on Conqueror really be able to put out that damage once they get into these long fights. But Huni, after the first plays, wasn't able to aggress Broken Blade, wasn't able to get those kills he wanted, so it's been a bit slower to get his items.
Yeah, but I mean, hitting the Triforce at this point in the game with
the CS.
Executioners is pretty damn good,
Absolutely.
right? Anytime you are in a matchup where it is Triforce versus Black Cleaver and you get there first as a Triforce user, you are feeling like this guy is doomed. So Huni going to be really comfortable to go aggressive here, and it's great by timing right before the Infernal. So I want to see Clutch try to fight for this.
I wonder, TSM going to pop the Rift Herald here at the same time with Inferno. 5 members pushing in on the tower to pressure.
Infernal chains back. Huni's on the bot lane pressuring. True shot barrage goes through. A little bump from Cody's son as he high-fives Rift Herald to Monte waiting. He has the river again. That water is going to lock up his opponents when he uses Q.
Oh, Huni over the wall, perhaps.
Instant auto again on Q. Double
Round 2.
stun here if he hits it. Round 2. He does use the Supreme Display, but he's going to get out of this one. That was just to add a little bit of front-end damage, and it looks like they'll now fight for the Drake.
Yeah, and they got Broken Blade's ult and him chunked down. So this could just be them straight up getting the Infernal. I think TSM says off that, no, don't even challenge. Bjergsen got chunked down to about half. Broken Blade used his ult and was chunked down to half. So with that little bit of damage coming out from Damonte, Clutch will even us up as far as the Infernals go.
Nicely done. Thinning out the members of TSM before they need to make a move, or at least their health bars and ultimates to make it happen. Clutch again, able to set a little bit of pace here in a game where they didn't seem to get everything they wanted early. A little bit of a mishap top, but game's being cleaned up. 4,000 gold in the lead now feels pretty great as they start to drop that outer ring of turrets here. It's still protected in the other lanes, but that means Clutch is headed towards mid or top.
And they're pretty happy to get that first turret bonus as well. That one goes down without anybody else around. Huni gets full gold on it, and that is just going to mean Aurelia even more powerful here. Even though Huni hasn't gotten any of the kills, by far highest farm in the game and turret gold.
And he's actually going to go Death Dance again, I do believe, with this Vamp Scepter. It is going to be the build we saw from him yesterday against CLG, where he was absolutely taking over. Now, the Death Dance is so incredibly powerful in the 1v1. Things like a GA obviously can be better for the team fight, but you get to this point where you're so tanky and you have so much sustain with that Death Dance. When you're this far ahead, you can essentially ignore the tower and start to actually threaten dives onto this Aatrox.
Great buddy system they have in mid. Not looking good, however. Buddy system topside for TSM. They forgot to leave somebody next to Bjergsen, and that's going to be a Lyra Damonte pickup. TSM not really in position to make a move around the map, so Clutch pick up a little bit more and aren't even going to pressure this one.
Yeah, these are very key pickoffs for Damonte. He's choosing his targets wisely because the armor is going to keep on coming. We already have a bunch of armor stacked on Sejuani. We have 2 of the Ninja Tabi already. We expect to see more of them coming through for TSM. So trying to take down Bjergsen while he just has the Seekers and doesn't have a Zhonya's fully completed right now and was at low HP to begin with is very important since Cody's son is basically full AD right now. Ezreal hasn't splashed too much AP in there. And with the extra lead here for this team, they might be able to brute force.
Yeah, and it looks like for now they're just going to utilize Huni on this bottom side to try to draw pressure. TSM may need to send an additional man down to actually deal with Huni, and if you can set up that type of position, you can really start to kind of force elsewhere on the map, get vision, try to start taking away these camps, but as of right now, it is just going to be Clutch pushing out those waves, then regrouping with Huni here.
Forward wards being placed. You see a bit of a move in, as you said, from Hooney. That pink's going to go down by the red buff. Nice damage from Cody's son as he walks forward with Lyra. And it seems like they're just tempting TSM, figuring out how much TSM feels like they need to aggress or push themselves into a bad situation. But they're asking the question to the wrong team. TSM is ready to take the fight accordingly as it comes. We already see supreme display of talent on Bjergsen. He probably wants to get that set up on more than just one member. TSM moving together downriver. Slices for Hooney. Keeps himself safe on the bot side, and looks like he'll try to keep Broken Blade down there as long as possible, even though low on mana. Goes for Krugs in a bit of a fight up towards the top side of the map. Now it starts to get a little bit antsy where everybody does want something, but I still think we're gated here by the minute and a half of Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and everybody's holding onto their teleports right now, too. Demonte by himself top, though.
Supreme display of talent on the turret. Demonte still goes down. So sorry, so close to getting out though, and that's going to be another pickup on the side at TSM. Quickly moving around the map, and it just seems like straggler pickoffs are the name of the game right now.
Yeah, and that's a nice play for TSM. Didn't hit the supreme display of talent, but are able to actually locking him down with Smoothie, blowing the summoners, blowing the ultimate, getting in on top of him, and that's an easy setup for Spica to then follow up with that Sejuani ult. So TSM, getting picks of their own back, this is certainly something they need to do. They are on the back foot a bit here and want to try to pull themselves back into parity potentially before this next Infernal.
Yeah, Kiana's a very good target for them to go after. They knew they had the numbers advantage there and are able to walk through that previously set control ward to make that dive happen. Some money back for themselves. See if they can actually set up, because the next dragon is, guess what? Another Infernal, and we're 30 seconds away with currently the Vision in Clutch Gaming's favor, so they have priority right now.
They want Sven.
Flawless duet, just missing Vanguards as well as Sven gets himself to safety. That was a flash used, however. And now it's going to be 16 seconds for Infernal. Last one to come up on the map cannot be matched, as you're only going to get 3 of that one element.
All right, TSM are going to try and stall right now because they're keeping Bjergsen on top half of the map. They want to be able to get that turret while Clutch Gaming go for this Infernal Drake. And even though there's a ward in there, they're giving up on it because everybody else also going top. TSM decided not to fight this Infernal Drake, and they're going to try and trade across the map.
Yeah, and I think this is smart. TSM know they're in a weaker position right now. You just lost Flash off of your AD as well, so the potential for Flash, Kiana, all Jarvan, etc., all piling in is very real. So they're going to have to respect that fact, and we'll be giving up another Infernal, while TSM are going to try to push for a second potential turret, or at least some damage down on it.
Yeah, not a whole lot of follow-up coming from those two, but if they have time, they can whittle it down and prep it for the next move that they want. Looks like they should have enough damage to take it down. The True Shot Barrage from Cody's son, and a little help from Demonte does keep it standing tall onto Sven. That's going to be a hit in from Lyra. He tries to actually get to the flash in knock-up, and they're not going to be able to be successful on that, but they are successful on the kill and turret, and that's what matters for Clutch.
Yeah, this is actually huge. They can continue pushing on turret number 2. The only defense that TSM had mid was Sven, and with him down, that is a quick second turret pick up there for Clutch Gaming, which opens up the entire map. Now they have no mid turrets with which to try and defend off of. That is your pivot point for both the Dragons and Baron defense here. It makes it really hard to keep up that defensive line of control wards through your jungle. So Clutch Gaming very quickly kind of blow open the doors.
Yeah, and I mean, they end up in the long run getting so much more out of that. It wasn't just the Infernal then traded for a turret. They ended up getting killed, 2 turrets of their own, and certainly are looking poised to take a very big advantage of this game. But it is now Baron time, 22 minutes in, so the Vision battles must now begin in this area. And TSM does have a smattering of wards around that river, and even some of those deeper wards, back into the Clutch Gaming side. And really, this is what has to just all be kind of cleared out by Clutch, and then we want to see them trying to establish their battle lines and looking for fights around those jungle corridors where Kiana is so strong.
Vanguard's edge is down. They'll take that fight. Double Vanguards, and who's going to get this one? Hooney's now at a 3v1. Smoothie doesn't even come to the fight to go in there.
Baron is up right now while they put 4 members bottom. All right, they're not going to go for anything fresher here. Really good play then from TSM to quickly kill off Hooney, and no response really except for the top turret trade. So it's going to be the extra advantage here, an extra gold going over to TSM. They can dive 3v1 as well.
Yeah, and honestly just kind of preying on Hooney's aggressive tendencies, right? Just waiting in that brush, Aatrox shows up and is like, I'm here, bro. And he just immediately goes right in on him, wants that 1v1 kill. And Huni gets punished for it.
Seeing where they go. Huni wants to dance with death, and they will give it to him down towards that bot side of the map, and that focus is now towards the top. Spica doing what he can to place a few wards, as you see the ones that have been placed by TSM are wearing out quite soon, so they need to recap here and get some vision down. Great job by Clutch already to get that light bright of security out as Cody Sun continues to farm. This is where it seems like it's really hard to break Clutch when you don't exactly know what they're going to do next, and it could just be Demonte coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, Demonte specifically, because the Kiana is going to have a very difficult time assassinating any of these targets on TSM. They all now, in addition to armor, have things like Stoneplate and Zonias available to them. And Lucian is one of the tankiest marksmen just by default from the Black Cleaver build. And Sven has been able to complete that. I would expect for Clutch, well, they're going to try and catch Smoothie. I would expect Lyra to also build a Black Cleaver, try and continue to shred more armor for his teammates. The Dragonlance level 5 Jarvan already shreds 26% of your opponent's armor, but he's going to also try and build a Black Cleaver to help soften up some of these armor-heavy targets for the team. That's why both of these teams are kind of slow at the moment, choosing their opportunity.
Monte roaming down, possibly into the jungle, but looks like he's just going to get a little bit of assistance with his team. They do see him on the outside, so they're not ready to take this fight on the side of TSM. And TSM will back off through their jungle. Looks safe, though. They are ready to go over the walls. Smoothie camped out in the wolf pit, looking to try to get himself over, but Clutch doesn't want to give him an easy engage here.
Yeah, Spica's got to be a little bit careful about getting chunked out too hard, because this is a double Infernal 25-minute game, right? Like, you can just go on to Baron if the jungler gets too low and look to potentially rush that down. Huni, though, moving up towards this mid lane, is spotted out by a ward, so TSM should be backing off.
Talked a little bit about those Zanyas earlier. Not as easy to take down Bjerg. So now Gargoyle onto Spica. He can take a few hits. Has to be a perfect entry from Broken Blades Aatrox if it happens. And they're allowing Clutch in ever so slightly here so they can get that false sense of security. It looks like TSM really wants to get in.
Yeah, TSM only have that one super deep ward that, as Dale pointed out earlier, does get replaced, though, as Spica places a new one in their own jungle. Clutch have complete control over the vision around the Baron at the moment, and they're closing in
trouble.
Cody Sun over the wall. He could possibly get devoured. Oh, they got a flash over for him. This is not what they wanted. Now devoured by Vulcan. Supreme display of talent twice across the wall for both of the mid laners. Spica's getting pretty low here in the middle of the fight and can't get out because of the Cataclysm, and Lyra's going to go into stasis. Everybody's looking for the next target. The first one to go down. Who's it going to be with a low HP? They skitter away from each other, and nobody has gone down except for Bjergsen in this fight. No more follow-up after the mid laner falls.
Yeah, the health is too low for Clutch to start the Baron here, though, so thankfully for TSM, it was a close enough fight to prevent that follow-up. And Cody Sun just initiating it, dashing over the wall into the Silas's face, getting things started here for Clutch.
It looked like they wanted to devour back over the wall, and then he just created a little too much distance. You saw Vulcan have to flash over for it. Can't wait to see it again. Here it is.
All right, this is the start. Yeah, they know they're got their eyes on Bjergsen. Immediately, though, from the brush, Smoothie jumps onto Cody, and he gets a little bit worried. But Vulcan flashes over, even after getting knocked up, is able to get the Devour off. And then the re-engage there, they'll jump down, Jarvan ultimate the rest of them, but Spica's able to Q flash out on Sejuani, so no further casualties on either side.
Yeah, and Sven staying very healthy in this fight really was what kind of pushed Clutch back from trying to continue. We can now see that Cody Sun is going to build towards some AP. He already had the Sork boots, and it is going to be this Gunblade as opposed to going straight for that Blade of the Rune King. And we may see something along the lines of Illudens next. That can be pretty popular with these kind of poke style Ezreal builds where we see them putting both the red buff and the blue buff onto this Ezreal and allowing him to really get a lot of work done.
3 strong in mid. Kiana
Huni
coming down the top side of blue. Huni flanking now onto Sven, out of position. Sven is down. Rest of TSM has to find their way in through their own front door because they cannot base to the fountain. That's an ultimate stolen. Only Vanguard's Ed for Bjergsen isn't going to really do too much against Clutch as they are now inside the base. Spica in the eyes of the team of Clutch here, locked up in Cataclysm. How can TSM answer? They can only watch their jungler fall. Clutch has control of the Rift.
Yeah, they knocked that door right down. Once again, Sven was the only member of TSM in mid lane, so they kill him. They take down the inhibitor turret plus the inhibitor. They abyssal voyage towards Baron as well, and they will be able to pick that up.
Yeah, Spica trying to cut the minions, it looked like. They're coming from behind from Clutch, but there was no way they were ever going to be able to take that team fight for TSM once Sven was already down. So Clutch kill off the jungler, taking away any chance really of a steal here. And Bjergsen wandering over to the area, but he will be far too late. The Baron is going to go to Clutch.
Looking like we're going to get another game of this series. Here's another eyeball on Huni with the flank. He knows he has flash advantage over Sven, so he makes it stylish once again with the R-Flash Aurelia, able to finish him off with the stun. And then this is what you're talking about, is where Spica flanked from behind, but they already down on members.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see what he was thinking was going to happen here, right? Like, how is TSM going to follow up? And I'm not sure if he was trying to cut the wave. It didn't look like it. It looked like he just wanted to engage, but throws away his life and guarantees that this Clutch Gaming team will be getting Baron.
Guardian Angel purchase for Demonte. He and Huni can dive in even harder now with the ability to be devoured by Vulcan if he is behind them. And here we are towards the bot side of the map. Objective free across the board, just the turrets left, so that means it's bot side time as Clutch looks to put the finishing touches on the outer tier turrets. This one's gonna fall pretty fast. Nobody's on the top side of the map, so expect this engage to last quite a while here in the bot.
Oh, teleport behind. This is a teleport flank deep from TSM. We see on the mini-map, it's Bjergsen Silas coming through. He'll have to go through control wards.
Who's he gonna steal though? Demonte's gonna be his first. Kiana ultimate would be huge here if he can get a flash over the wall. Bjergsen's flash is still up. If he can get the rest of Clutch as they are backs against the wall, it would be gigantic. The turret's only got about a fifth of its HP left, and that's a few shots from the Ezreal. One with that W lock up, and now they're gonna be on to Spica. Comes through. Nice job by Smoothie to get the quickness on the rest of Clutch Gaming members so TSM can try to stop the offense, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Clutch has already taken the front end damage that they're going to, and Broken Blade has to sheath the sword. That's gonna be it here for game 3, and Clutch looks to seal the deal and keep the series alive.
Huni is a monster! He just soloed Sven with Sejuani right next to him, diving in on the Aurelia, and Clutch!
What a game, and game 4, here we come. Clutch Gaming knowing exactly what it's like to be in TSM's shoes, and maybe a little bit of how to fight against it.
Definitely the case. I mean, TSM, this time they don't get the early game advantage, and Clutch show us what they can do with the lead. Huni was so far ahead this entire game. Big advantages up on that top side. You know, that one play where they're actually pushing Broken Blade off the turret really had huge effects on the rest of the game. He was never able to catch back up to Huni. Huni got ahead in itemization, and at the end of the game, he was almost a full 100 CS ahead.
This was also our most calm game of the series. A lot less